Maybe this is the perfect time for a truce.
Don't ever let her hear you say that.
What makes you think that it couldn't happen again?
There's one thing that makes your situation different.
I think you're making a mistake.
What haven't you told me about my child?
I really hope Emma uploads that recording and floods social media with it. Let's show Drew for the puppet he really is. Seriously, assault because she knocked something out of someone's hands? She didn't even touch the guy. But hopefully, Emma got the whole assault incident on video, including Martin's little head nod to the surveyor when asked if he wanted to press charges. Nothing but a bought and paid for pawn in this whole mess. And can we talk about Brooklyn for a second? She needs to give Lulu an ultimatum. If Lulu spills the beans to Dante about the baby, Brooklyn should call the cops and report that Lulu broke into Martin's hotel room to snoop through his private legal documents. Lulu thinks being stuck in a hospital bed was bad. Wait until she's spending time behind bars. Maybe that will teach her to stay out of other people's business for once. As for Drew, they've completely ruined his character. The only way to redeem him at this point is if he's actually an imposter. The whole brain damage excuse for both twins is just too much of a stretch. Chase makes an arrest, and Tracy's barred Drew from all of Q's property, yet he keeps showing up. With his latest spiteful stunt, I'm really hoping Tracy finally gets him arrested. Martin's got the court order, Drew's just trespassing at this point. Honestly, the only thing that would make today better is if Emma posts that video and makes it go viral. Drew needs to be exposed for the fraud he is. Yesterday's episode, suspenseful, sure, but not in a good way. You're supposed to want to see what happens next, not sit there hoping something bad happens to Drew and Lulu. Though, at least Lulu finally caved, but I was really hoping for the slap. And Tracy didn't even touch the guy? The surveyor was working for Drew the whole time. It was all just ridiculous. At least Emma redeemed herself. Now let's get that video out there. Oh, and Anna? Why was she just standing around instead of getting Charlotte out of there? Classic. Lastly, Nina needs to come clean about her and Drew. Willow will forgive her. She has no choice. But GH is seriously trying to turn Drew into their version of a bad boy like Sunny? Yeah, that's not working. Drew's probably not even a quartermain. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Drew really needs to go. I'm also over Portia keeping secrets from Curtis. Honestly, I wanted Curtis to be with Jordan, but she's way too good for him. I'm glad she's with the doctor now. He actually deserves her. But seriously, how did Curtis throw away his whole marriage over not being told police info? Meanwhile, he forgives Portia for lying to him his whole life about having a daughter. Yeah, okay. And Tracy, can you please just release that damn sex tape already? I can't with her still holding on to it. Now this whole Portia storyline, total mess. I had no idea Curtis knew she tampered with those results, but once she let it slip, I was like, why is she so worried about him then? Oh right, he didn't know about the blackmail. Does she seriously think he's going to get mad at her over that, and not at Brad? The drama here is so forced. There's literally no reason for it. Honestly, she should be more concerned about her job or her medical license. But according to what she told Rick, she doesn't care about that. All she cares about is Curtis. So, why did she even see a lawyer? How's he gonna help her save her marriage when that's clearly not on her priority list? Classic GH writing. Makes no sense. Also, what's she keeping from Brooklyn? That she's known about her kid his whole life, and now he's living with her, his grandparents, and great-grandparents? That's gonna be a huge revelation. And seriously, why are people talking about Drew, Tracy, and Emma when this post was about Brooklyn asking her mom, "What haven't you told me about my child?" I can't even. Personally, I think Lois was being selfish keeping Brooklyn's kid away from her for so long. Hopefully, she kept some keepsakes for Brooklyn to have, just something to show for it. As for Drew, he's not a good villain, he's just creepy. He started off weird with Nina, playing the older uncle role, and now all his revenge tactics? Not villainous, just creepy. And now it's about burial land? Really? I don't even know what Cameron's doing with those eyes. It's all so awkward. And the hypocrisy is insane. Drew hated Sunny and Jason for their mob ways, but now he's just wrecking everyone in his path. What a creep. Brooklyn doesn't deserve to be vilified for making a decision that countless teenage girls have had to make. It was the right decision for her at the time, and let's be honest, that's all that matters. Shrew also made a decision about her own body, one she thought was best for her at the time too. Both girls made their choices based on not being ready to be mothers. So why does Shrew feel like she has the right to crucify Brooklyn for her decision? As for Dante's right to know, wasn't Dylan the one begging Shrew not to terminate her pregnancy? And she did it anyway. But now, she's out here going after Brooklyn for keeping a Silo's adoption a secret? Talk about hypocritical. Let's talk about Lois for a second, because she's the actual villain here. Lois has known who Gio is this entire time and has kept that little nugget of information from literally everyone. His mother, his father, and all his grandparents. If the adoption was truly closed, how does she know where the baby ended up? But instead of keeping the secret, she handed the baby off to someone she knew, watched him grow up, and kept everyone else in the dark. If anyone deserves the wrath here, it's Lois, not Brooklyn, and certainly not the spoiled, entitled, hypocritical mess that is Shrew Spencer. Now let's take a quick trip down memory lane to understand where Lulu Spencer was just before her coma. She'd just gotten a divorce from Dante because he wanted it that way. Sure, his reasons were valid at the time, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, Lulu was picking up the pieces and doing her best as a single mom to 2 kids when she thought she had found love with Dustin. But guess who came back into the picture? Yep, Dante. Lulu realizes she still loves him. He's the one for her. So she heads out to break things off with Dustin. And just as she's about to do that, the bar they're in gets bombed and Dustin dies. Lulu, heartbroken but still determined, confesses to Maxie that she still loves Dante and is ready to tell him. Then, she passes out and slips into a coma for 4 years. Fast forward to her waking up, and guess what? She doesn't even know 4 years have passed. She wakes up to a totally different world. Her father, aunt, and cousin are all dead. The love of her life has moved on with someone else. Her best friend is now close with someone Lulu had issues with for years. Her daughter is on the run with a dangerous man who happens to be her father, Valentin. Lulu knows Valentin will do whatever it takes to protect her. But, well, Valentin being Valentin, that's not always a guarantee. So for Lulu, it feels like just a few months have passed, not 4 years. She's adjusting to this completely new world, but it's not exactly a smooth transition. You know, the whole head versus heart thing. But don't worry, she'll find her way, just as much as any Spencer can settle down. So I'm guessing Lois will be out of the picture once the whole Gio secret blows up. I mean, seriously, how could she stay after that? Too many people are going to be livid, and with Brooklyn losing it, she's definitely out the door. No way she survives that storm. And can someone explain to me why everyone is just letting Charlotte get away with being a spoiled brat? I mean, seriously, no one's even reminding her that she's the reason she got shot? Anna, what are you doing? Someone should have smacked some sense into her by now. Also, where's Ned when Tracy needs him? Hello, he's a lawyer. Shouldn't he be down at the police station, defending his mother and making sure they don't lock her up? You'd think someone with legal skills would actually, I don't know, use them? And let's talk about this whole Brooklyn giving up her son for adoption drama. Seriously, people are crying over it? She made the right call. At least she didn't kill her kid like Lulu did. Sure, maybe she should have told Dante, but it's not like the world's ending over it. Gio seems like he was raised well enough So chill, people. Tracy, you go girl. Don't let Drew push you around. What business does he have trying to tear down the family crypt? Like, what's his deal with ruining your parents' final resting place? They've got enough on their minds already, trying to rest in peace. Tracy's got that don't mess with me attitude, and I love it. She's never backing down, and I'm here for it. Now, Lulu, who does she think she is? I mean, seriously, what is this new version of her? I don't remember her being this obnoxious before the coma. Maybe I'm misremembering. Feel free to be nice, people, but this? No way. Laura didn't raise a nasty, opinionated brat like this. She's got so much nerve, thinking she can just drop some bombshell on Dante after all this time. Yeah, that's going to go so well for her. Oh, and just wait. Emma's going to overhear all of this and run straight to Gio to spill the tea. You know it's coming. Does Drufus seriously not know the history of the Quartermain property? He's out here claiming that Edward expanded it by developing city land, even though he already had tons of acreage. Newsflash, Drufus. Monica owned that property. Alan handed it over to her, you know, like a gift. She was generous enough to let Edward's relatives live there. But hey, nice try though. And seriously, it's clear as day that Martin and Drew set Tracy up. But here's the kicker, the adjuster, who committed that the building was partially on public land, couldn't even clarify which part. Why does that matter? Because I have a gut feeling that Martin and Drew know the truth. The family crypt is on the Quartermain property, not on public land. It's just one more thing they're not owning up to. What do you think? Anyone else think Drew and Martin totally set Tracy up? Oh, and major kudos to Emma for recording it all on social media. Now everyone gets to see the real Drew Kane. Bravo, Emma. Speaking of kudos, can we just talk about Dante for a second? He deserves so much better than Lulu. When Dante was mentally struggling in the hospital, what does Lulu do? She divorces him while he's sick. Talk about throwing vows out the window. Dante's this kind, selfless guy who deserves someone who actually mirrors those qualities. Lulu, on the other hand, is selfish, judgmental, and downright mean. Seriously, Dante deserves better. And don't even get me started on Anna and Valentin. That scene, I was bawling. So much raw emotion. Brooklyn's right, Lulu had no business getting involved. Anna should be focused on Charlotte, now that she's home, but Lulu just had to stick her nose in. And again, Emma, we need that video posted ASAP. How does Willow not know what Drew's up to? How is she this out of the loop? And then there's Anna. She was a total badass and heartbreakingly tender, all in the span of 20 minutes. Finola, I see you flexing those acting chops. Honestly, her and James Patrick are straight up fire. If the writers don't figure out how to get them back together soon, I'm going to need them to send me a memo about what's going on. Ned is still whining about Sonny returning to L&B Records, completely oblivious to the fact that Gio is not only his grandkid, but also Sonny's. Imagine the drama when that bombshell drops. He won't know how to handle that one. Meanwhile, Lulu and Brooklyn have had some pretty honest talks, with Lulu promising to keep Brooklyn and Dante's biological child under wraps for now. But with Martin Gray now in the loop, it's only a matter of time before that secret sees the light of day. Maxie, being the ultimate friend, had to spill the beans to Dante that Lulu's still got feelings for him. Girl code be damned. Lulu was planning to tell Dante herself before her accident, but surprise, surprise, Dante still has feelings for her too. When the truth about Brooklyn's kid and Gio's true identity comes to light, Lois is in for some epic fallout with pretty much everyone, especially Ned. And I'm honestly loving how Emma put Drew in his place. Finally, someone's not taking his nonsense. Then there's Charlotte, who had the audacity to ask Jason if Anna would actually go so far as to kill her dad, Valentin. Now that's some drama I didn't see coming. And yes, Charlotte is officially coming back to Port Charles. Great. Oh, and Jordan, the deputy mayor, for anyone who's forgotten, should be the one calling the shots in the city, not Drew. His role is supposed to be about Congress, not running the local show. Seriously, someone needs to give Valentin a French lesson. When addressing a woman, it's May Sherry, not Mon Sherry. Come on, man, get it together. As for Anna, why is she suddenly desperate to bring Charlotte back? Last I checked, she's the one who let Valentin slip away in the first place. And finally, let's talk about Lulu. We know she still cares about Dante, but if Brooklyn had told him they had a kid all those years ago, this whole mess wouldn't even exist. The writers are seriously twisting history here, and it's just bad storytelling. Why doesn't Lois just tell the truth already? Gio's literally living under their roof, so what's the holdup? This whole thing is just getting ridiculous. Valentin Cassadine, what a gem. Seriously, if they take him off the show, I'll lose it. He's absolutely terrific, and honestly, what are we left with now that so many amazing actors have been shown the door? It's like they're stripping the show of all the good parts. This is just sad. And speaking of sadness, is there another murder on the way? It sure seems like they're building up Drew to be the kind of character everyone loves to despise. So when something happens to him, surprise, there's a whole list of suspects ready to point fingers. But my money's on Gio. Picture this. He stumbles into a scene where Drew is, shocker, physically harming Tracy. Oh, and don't forget Gio's big family reveal. It's like a perfect storm of everything's gone wrong. There's no coming back for this guy, so they might as well just off him now. They can't even do a Franco redemption arc at this point. I mean, it's definitely looking that way. But please know, there's nothing better than a character you just love to hate. And Drew? I really hate his smug, egotistical, arrogant, conniving little self. Keep him around just for that. This whole BLQ, Dante or Gio drama is a total bust. Like Chase, am I right? Honestly, it's a nothing burger of a story. The big twist seems to be the secret itself, but beyond that, there's barely anything worth getting invested in. The plot doesn't even come close to the depth we've come to expect from Lois and Brooklyn, especially Lois, but more on that in a minute. And even though there's a potential goldmine of material here, I'm pretty sure the show won't explore any of it in a meaningful way. Gio's a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but he's not exactly setting the world on fire. Where's the conflict? The only people who've been good to him his whole life are his family, so yeah, he'll be upset, but that doesn't make for an interesting or sustainable storyline. There's just no real push and pull here. Now Tracy and Ned suddenly care so much about this kid, despite the fact that he's been living in their house for a whole year and they've only just started acknowledging him like 2 weeks ago. Tracy, my queen, sounded absolutely unhinged arguing with Sunny over some guy who's basically a temporary guest in their home. Why are you so involved in this? You didn't even know this kid existed until recently. And Lulu? Don't get me started. She's being written into the most ridiculous corner right now, and it's such a waste of Alexa Haven's talent. She's acting like a villain for holding some teenage girl's pregnancy over Brooklyn's head, as though it's some kind of dark, scandalous secret. It makes zero sense for Lulu, especially when she's still mad about Brooklyn trying to seduce Dante 15 years ago. Seriously, girl, movie on. But here's the real kicker, and it's a big one. There's absolutely no way this betrayal from Lois, of all people, would hurt Tracy, Ned, and Brooklyn this badly. Lois is supposed to have this unshakable moral compass, and family has always been her priority. You're telling me she just sat by while her grandson couldn't even call her Nona? Nah, that's total BS. And let's talk about Sunny for a second. Lois let him have a relationship with his grandson, even though he didn't know they were related. But Ned's a loving father who comes from a messed up family, yet Lois just lets that relationship crumble. And Tracy? Sure, she's a little crazy, which I adore about her, but she loves her kids and grandkids with her whole heart. It just doesn't add up that Lois would do this to them. If you want me to believe it, you're going to have to sell it way better, because right now, it doesn't work. Then there's the whole thing with Brooklyn hiding the kid from Dante all this time. They've been friends forever and live in the same house. After Brooklyn's pregnancy, Carly tried to use it to break up Dante and Lulu. If there was ever a time to mention the child, it was then, not now. For years, there wasn't even a hint that their past ran that deep. If they were going to give Brooklyn a long-lost kid, why not make Cody the father? He's been off canvas for ages. There were all those hints about summer camp shenanigans. And let's face it, he's a total mess. It makes way more sense for Brooklyn to keep that kid a secret from him. So yeah, this whole thing doesn't add up. It's a narrative train wreck, and I'm just here for the chaos. Is it just me, or does anyone else find it odd that Lulu hasn't bothered to visit Nicholas? The girl's been wide awake, jet-setting across the world, breaking and entering, and confronting Brooklyn over something that doesn't even concern her. Yet somehow, she can't find the time to check in on her brother. The same brother who literally saved her life with an antibody donation. Remember him? Or did the writers forget that Lulu has another family member, aside from Laura and the rest of the crew? You'd think someone would nudge her and say, hey, maybe visit the guy in prison. You know, the one who has family. It's not like Nicholas is winning any popularity contests within the family after the mess he's made over the years. So yeah, I get why Lulu, or any of them, might not exactly be rushing to his cell. But mark my words, she'll show up when she really needs something from him. After all, it took her months to see her dear friend Spinelli, and that was only because she needed him to break into Val's house. Classic Lulu. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.